Okay. All right, so does people know what line writer is? Let's see if I can find it. All right, so this is line writer. You have a little dude. Think of that as your player character surfing. Like, this is a video I should have made like ages ago. So essentially, we're making ramps this way, right? We're kind of taking a couple of points and just kind of making a section between them. It's easier if we do it this way. So this is our grid, essentially. We then have that goes from there to there, the next goes from there to there, and eventually it kind of builds out, and you might be confused as to why I'm describing surf mapping right now, but you'll figure it out eventually. It's fine. We'll get to that point. This is essentially how you make a surf ramp. And I know that this is getting a little boring, but we'll get there. Just calm down, everyone. So now we have a fairly smooth ramp, right? And that's going to translate, where's the play button? There. Into a fair amount of speed. Whereas if instead, can we just clear out the thingy thing? I don't know how to do anything in this fucking thing. Okay. Just get away with you. Okay. So if we instead just had 2 lines like this, that's not what I needed to click. The amount of speed that we get is a lot less. So, what Tickrate essentially is how many of these lines that we have in a given time span. So, if the server updated, say, 4 times, it would be a equivalent to a ramp that looked a bit like this, right? So we have 4 different changes. Essentially, we can also go into Hammer and say, if we have a cylinder with 8 sides, we could then use that as a equivalent of our tick rate. So if we're trying to turn 360, this is how it looks to the server. If we in 1 second turn 360 on 8 ticks, this is how it looks to the server. And so as you can see, these sides are very, very bumpy. That means that you don't really have, if we go back to Line Rider, you don't really have that smooth curve that makes the player go fast. Thank you for the rate, Geronimo. We're describing tick rate right now with Line Rider and cylinders. So, if we instead have a cylinder with 32 sides, we can now see, hey, that actually looks a bit like a circle. But if we zoom in, we can still see the little differences in it. So the difference between 100 tick and 1,000 tick is that we have 10 times more updates. We're 10 times as smooth going through this here, which means we're very, very, very close to a perfect circle, right? Kind of, at least. But what then airaccelerate does is that, as far as I'm aware, it describes how much we can turn. So if we go SV interval tick and go up to 1,000 again, should probably check what my FPS max is. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay. Disconnect. FPS. Come on. FPS max 99. We go back into the map. Alright, so you can now see our tick rate is 1,000. We have high frame rate, and we can just kind of jump in circles. So this is with accelerate 1000, which means that we accelerate really fucking fast. If we then set the accelerate down to, say, 100, we can still do this thing. However, it's going to cap us out in a different pace. Like you're seeing, I'm actually losing speed every once in a while here without hitting the walls. So if we put it down to the default of 10, what ends up happening is that when we overturn, you can see that we're actually reaching a certain limit. So the airaccelerate is essentially how much you can turn depending on your speed, because we could still be gaining absolutely absurd amounts if we just very slowly turned. But we have to do it so slowly that at this point it kind of doesn't matter. However, if we go up to 100 tick or 100 airaccelerate, you saw that that actually turned into quite a lot, that we can turn quite a bit. That also, again, changes with the more speed we have. So if we go up to a very, very absurd amount of speed, so if we say no clip speed, 25, you can now see, hey, look, we have a ton of speed. The fuck? Alright, so that loses us that speed very, very quickly. If we then turn the airaccelerate up to 10,000, the speed is not lost, huh? So airaccelerate is how much you can turn. Tickrate is how smooth that turn is, meaning that you will essentially get more speed from it. And that's Tickrate and airaccelerate explained for you.